Influencer boxing has been huge for the past couple of years, but if it doesn't change these things soon, it won't be around for even one more year. Currently, the biggest issue is
sizing you up. I'm feeling you.
Yeah, feeling me, bro.
Yeah. Easy, bro. Actually.
Now listen, I get everybody wants to be Floyd Mayweather. Everyone wants to be a Conor. Everyone wants to try to be the bad guy, to be the one that people are going to pay their money to see them get beat. And sure, that's one way to play at the theatrics to look interesting. One, it's not the only way. And two, it's getting insanely out of control recently. Like a few months ago, I saw this come across my Twitter feed of Alex Stein throwing hot dogs at his opponent in the press conference. He gets super upset. The reason being is that his opponent is Muslim. And although Alex is like, oh, they were turkey hot dogs, the actual fact is throwing hot dogs, knowing what you're trying to insinuate, is straight up hateful, hurtful, and insane behavior. Thank goodness there was 2 brain cells to rub to at least cancel this fight, because that's not the way to promote it. This is beyond being the villain. You're no longer a Disney villain. You're just a bad fucking person. Or even Charleston White in his latest promotion for a fight, pepper sprayed in the face off. Straight up got shoved, the classic boxing trope of, oh, this is heated, gets shoved and comes around and pepper sprays his opponent in the face. To me, it's just this reality that these guys are entertainers first. They're playing a boxer. And this is what they think is better to get the headlines or to get the eyes. And most of the time, these crazy shenanigans lately, thank goodness, are just getting these fights canceled. And even beyond these very obvious examples of taking things too far, even the latest with Dillon Danis, to me, feels like just straight up harassment all the time. And it's kind of weird, especially when the fight is months down the road. Every day on my timeline, this guy's always posting about Logan's fiance and this and that. And it's weird. And you don't even need to be this big villain to promote a fight. The biggest fights don't happen because there's one big bad guy that people want to see get beat up, especially when we're talking about influencer boxing. These people have had less than 5 fights. We all know the fights aren't good. We watch because of the people that we like to watch. We watch because of the creator, or you watch because there's a charity aspect or something that just makes it a unique event, not because the boxing's good. And there's proof that you don't need to have this big evil thing or to have it be a big good versus evil opportunity for a fight to sell well. The biggest fight of this year is Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. Those two don't hate each other. There was never this insane malice going on throughout the entire promotion. It did the most buys because it was 2 of the biggest superstars basically entering their prime saying, let's fight. This is a mega fight, a fantasy fight that usually you don't get to see in the sport. Like, I miss the days of YouTuber boxing when it was like 2018 and it was about making dumb diss track songs, and yeah, it was goofy, and yeah, it was kind of funny, but it did the job, right? It got you to be like, okay, yeah, I'll watch this fight. There's a little bit of slightly bad blood going on. Not being anti-Semitic, hate speeching, harassing other people that won't step into the ring because that's not your opponent, and basically assault. To me, it's these influencers, YouTubers, personalities that try to play boxing to be the next bad guy that tend to do it the worst. And that's a problem. I know that these companies want the influencer in for the eyes that it draws, but they got to find a better way to filter them out just a little bit to make it so they aren't doing stupid things all the time. Because we're already at that point where it's like the craziest things that they're doing to try to get eyes and to get buys is just canceling fights. If you want to play boxer, at least play it in a different way than everyone else. And speaking of playing pretend, let's go into the second big issue right now with influencer boxing. Okay, tag team boxing, the worst idea, okay? Absolutely awful. I saw this as part of a card and thought there's no way this ends good. There's no way this is going to be fun even to watch. And it wasn't. It was really bad. And it somehow continued a few more times. Like, you're in there getting punched a lot. There's no time to reach out and tag in your partner in the hopes that they'll do it. If I was in a tag team boxing match with someone and my partner reached out because he's getting absolutely stomped, I'm not tagging him. Not because I don't want to help him, but because of the time that it takes to tag your partner, you're open to get basically knocked out. It's unsafe. I also find there's just sort of weird behavior in influencer boxing right now, like between the promotions and the fighters themselves. Like some of these bookings are just weird. Like I have no problem if an OnlyFans model would like to participate in boxing. I think that's great. And here comes a mild take of the video. These promotions shouldn't be surprised if they're trying to push their OnlyFans. And yes, we're talking about the Daniella Hemsley incident where she wins her fight in a slew of glory, brings us back to the early days of Girls Gone Wild. Fine, I've seen less offensive things than a pair of boobies. But the weird part is afterwards, because she won her fight, but then the promotion pulls her out of this tournament for what she did. But to me, it's weird on the promotion side. I think we can all see what they're trying to do. Oh, this like towing the line of maybe adult content with these people that do adult content and then are like, oh no, you did that. No, we're trying to be a family-friendly event. Like, you can't have both. Like, if you want to be the Attitude Era, but for boxing, then just be that. You can't be both the Attitude Era and the PG Era at the same time. It doesn't work. And it feels weird that she got punished for something that really, in all honesty, not that crazy. And that to me also kind of goes into the problem of these promotions in general and finding out what their intentions are. To me, it feels like there's a lot of promotions bubbling up that are just here to make the dollar, to get in, to get out, and not really care about the sport. Which brings me to my final point, that there's hope.
Are you ready for a miracle?
I think there are people that are trying to do boxing and trying to do influencer boxing for good. I think there are people that are putting on great cards, that are doing it because they enjoy the sport, they fell in love with it, and they're maybe doing it for a good cause. Even though Creator Clash 2 lost money, I still think that overall it was another solid card. It was a lot of fun, and I think it always is being done for the right reasons. It's the people that are putting on boxing cards to help improve the sport, which makes it better. And it's crazy to say that out of all the influencer boxers, the only one that's actually pushing the sport forward and trying to do something good in the end is Jake Paul, who's putting women's boxing on a big platform with his own help, with his own promotion, trying to get fighters better pay. This is a guy that we want to see get beat time and time again and has been beat, and yet here we are coming around on another card. We're probably all going to be invested. And I really hope that influencer boxing can keep going, because although maybe their first outing in a fight isn't that great, they get better with every fight. And that's the cool part. You see people like your Salt Papis and your Slims who have fought multiple times now and continue to get better. And it goes from feeling more amateur to more professional. And that's when it becomes interesting. See, the greatest thing about influencer boxing is it's put so much eyes on the sport. So many people that are willing to now give it a shot, whether they ever fight or just do it for fitness. Boxing is one of those things that can be really life-changing when you find it. And I think that's the great thing that we need to get back to. Even when the beginning of influencer boxing happened, all the old heads, they're like, that's not real boxing. It brought a lot of eyes to people that didn't even know about boxing. To put eyes that maybe started with, sure, Logan Paul versus KSI, but then found out who Canelo was, found out who Tank was, found out who Anthony Joshua was, Tyson Fury, all these other names that then keep them now invested. Now they're fans of the sport. Now they're understanding the different nuances. Now they get excited when they see a super fight, like Terrence Bud Crawford versus Earl Spence Jr., because they kind of know what's going on and they know how big of a moment it is. And that's why I think that influencer boxing is at this weird crossroads, a fork in the road. They can continue to go down the path that they're on now, with the only headlines happening because of really bad promotion of people just being absolutely weird and unhinged. Or it can go down a different path. Let people fight for something, whether it's charity, whether it's for pride, but do it in a way that isn't about good versus evil anymore. Maybe it's about the competition instead, finding a better way to sell the fight, making people excited for their creator to win because it's their creator and they see the journey, the hardship that goes through getting ready for a fight, because stepping in the ring is no easy thing to do. It's hard, it's scary, and it's not for everyone. It's a real sacrifice. And I feel like with the current state of influencer boxing, it's tarnishing all of the hard work that people have put in to fight, to have their moment. I really hope we see things like a Creator Clash 3 and Misfits cards, which are about putting together some good matchmaking where it's two creators that aren't trying to have this fake bad blood or push it too far, but to fight to see just who's the better man that night. I want to see it get pushed forward with all female cards, with more inclusive cards, with, sure, you know what? Throw in a gimmick or two that is separate from the boxing, like chess boxing. I think if you go down that avenue, you'll see creators want to fight more. You'll see creators get better. And I think you'll see headlines for fights coming up that people are interested in, not because of bad blood and negativity. And I think you see it last longer.